doing some more testing here, especially on the Twitch part. See if we can just doing some more testing here, especially on there's a way for me to change the thumbnail. It's not showing anything like that. I guess you could do it after. I mean, it's got the model builder thing on it, so that works. But I don't know. Not sure how you could do that. That's okay. Anyway, and that's what I'm doing right now is I'm actually working on models. I deleted the one we were doing previously. Let's see, how does this look? We've got our last set of track cards here that we're waiting on to cure, and whoa, look out. And then we can put them, we've got 2 more hellhounds that I can put stuff on, but then I gotta build the other 3. So let's see here. And I'm gonna try something else with chat. There's that. Okay, and there's a way to pop the chat out. I don't remember. There it is. Pop out chat. That's what I wanted. And I just saw where you can clear the chat, so that's good. Whoa, what just happened there? Well, that explains what happened last time. Okay, no problem. So we'll put that over there. And then I am going to, well, that's not going to work. I was thinking I might be able to listen to a little Spotify, but I'm using my phone camera to do what we're doing right now. Right. Came out pretty decent. And this is, until I need something else or whatever, this is my last set that I had to make. So I'm pretty stoked about that. I mean, as far as this stuff's concerned, because you know, it's not very exciting making track cards, but I needed them. I mean, I didn't need them. I mean, you could say you have track cards, I guess, but I wanted to have them. I'll put it that way. Looks like we got another good chain out of it too, so that's good. Record chain, vehicle recovery chain, whatever you want to call it. Oh no, how did we get a nice perfect air bubble right in the center like that? Gosh, man, you gotta be kidding me. Well, I guess I was wrong on that part of it. Now I could fix that, and I don't know, let me contemplate contemplate that for a minute. What? That is like dead center too. How the heck did that even happen? Oh, let's see what's going on here. That's from we didn't pour it thick enough. That's from the gosh, what do you call it? That's from the actual model itself. Yeah, okay. Well, if we're gonna re-pour, then we might as well re-pour. I'll try to get this stuff out. This should probably be fine. Great thing is, I mean, really the great thing is it doesn't cost that much to do this. Not when you compare what it would cost you to buy this, you know, these pieces and parts. Another vehicle antenna. I was like, how in the world can that be right in the center? That's alright. Okay. I need to do all that to get this squared away. I'm not actually cutting the mold here, I'm just scraping off this plastic. And then what I do, because it, you know, it's kind of like a static electricity type deal, I just bang it on my chair. I'll vacuum it up later. Right. Excellent. I know what happened. I must have pressed in too hard with the clamp. That's okay. We'll get it. It's really simple anyway. Give myself some workspace here before I pour this. Watch your ears. All right. Grab another hellhound. Let's get to work. Remember, I gotta cut these sides off. Like I've said before many times, do a little at a time. Don't do the whole thing because you'll just break it. And if you're using an actual Games Workshop model, you'll tear the plastic. Almost perfect. How's it going, Craftsman? Sorry, I don't know why it doesn't give me an alert to let me know that somebody chatted. But hello. Nice to meet you. Alright, what I'm doing is I needed track cards for these tanks, and I only had 3 original sets, so I made a mold and casted them, and I'm on my last cast right here for 21 tanks. So, well, okay, for this army. My Steel Legion have 0, and I still have the mold, so I'm contemplating doing the same thing for them. So, and I still have 3 more Hellhounds to put together, a big giant Baneblade tank, if you know what I'm talking about. But we're making, oh, I guess maybe there's a delay in what we're doing because I just kind of said it all. I'm just trimming these up at the moment. But essentially, track guards for gameplay. I'll show you something else. Hold on a second. All of the white stuff is the stuff that I've cast. So the bulldozer blade, the track guards for this tank, the tank commander, and the trench rails. So alright, what I'm having to do now is fit these track guards on here that I made, so I'm trimming them up. Oh, okay. I got you. I'm relatively new to trying to make it all work, and I'm streaming both YouTube and Twitch, and I'm not real familiar with Twitch, so we'll see. At least not anymore. I did some stuff a long time ago, but got away from it, and it's kind of like a perishable skill, I guess. But I wasn't going to spend the money. They don't sell these parts individually, and I wasn't going to spend the money on eBay to try to find the bits. Not when I can do this on my own. At least that's how I look at it. And if it helps somebody else in the process, awesome. So what do you make? Okay, just need to trim some of that off. Need to trim that up some, will be good. I'm getting better about keeping my work in the camera, I think. At least a little bit. It's going to be interesting when I start painting in the camera. Wow. I don't have any experience in that. I just build bunkers and stuff. And the only scaled house I've ever seen was a grandfather I had built a doll house that it's crazy. I mean, everything in there was like to scale, and I think it was, I'm trying to remember what scale that was. I guess, I don't know, the figures were, and I forget now the scale sizing, but the figures were about the size that you would normally see for, you know, any type of train set, or yeah, about that size, as far as, you know, your people, and everything was to scale on that. But it was like 4 stories. No, I'm saying 4 stories. It was 2 floors with like four like it opened up into 4 panels, if you will, and it was pretty awesome. I don't know whatever happened to that though. Oh wait, I think my sister might have got that. I don't know, it's been so long ago. No telling. I'm also looking at trying to take this H-scale train here and turn it into a science fiction type thing. All of this stuff is science fiction. It's from a game called Warhammer 40,000, if you're not familiar with it. And that wouldn't be, you know, something you could actually use per se, other than like an objective piece or something like that. You know, maybe you're trying to stop the train or whatever. But it's a very grim, if you're not familiar with it, and I apologize if you are, but it's a very grim atmosphere. And even though it's science fiction, technology isn't that great, and they don't have the ability to make their own stuff. They can only copy and reproduce in limited scale, or limited scope, I mean to say. I think I cut this one down. I think I need to, actually. But this army is called the Krieg Death Corps, I can show you some of the troops here. These guys are made by Forge World. They've got mainly like World War I French armor type, gas masks and whatnot, and a couple other guys. But they're straight up resin. I got them years ago, and the most expensive army I've ever purchased. Not including the tanks and stuff like that, but I mean just those guys in general. And then after all these years, they've started to make some in plastic. They look different, but it is what it is. Alright, where's my other one? I have, like I said, I have 3 more of these guys to put together. And at some point I'll be building a pretty decent gaming table. One that I can put stuff away inside and things like that, but that's going to take some time. And with little kids, you know, in school, I'm a little strapped for time. That's what I wanted to do. I forgot to glue that down. Fix that later with some zip kicker and fill that gap in. Like it's laying halfway decent. Just need to trim this piece off right here. Oh no, I hear you. I got you. This is one of the few times I'm able to do it during the day, because all my family is on their way to Florida and whatnot, and I'm stuck here with the dogs and the businesses that we have. Let me get that out of there. That's probably my problem right there. I knew I needed to cut that off, but I don't know why I didn't. I hear you. Come on, man. Yeah, there's this armor right here that goes around that sticks out further over towards the tracks that I have to cut this stuff off to make it fit. Otherwise it won't work. Which might explain why they didn't include track guards in the kit, but somehow in the rules you can put track cards on. It's crazy. But I enjoy it. It definitely brings me some peace. Okay. Oh no, I just cut the wrong one. Goodness. I knew I cut the wrong side as soon as I did it too. And that's something. That's not what I need to be doing. I don't want to have to make any more of these things. I'm ready to be done with these guys. Man, I can't believe I did that. I mean, I can, but whatever. Let's see here. As long as I cut that right, we'll be good to go. Yep. Alright, doesn't look too bad. Just this one piece on the bottom here is sticking up too far. See if I can clean this up some. I don't like how rough this looks. I run a gun range, so that's been here since 1992, and we've got some people that now all of a sudden, you know, they've lived here longer than I have, but since I bought it, now all of a sudden they don't want it here, and it's like, well, good luck with that, dude. And they tried to pull some crap with our corrupt local government, took it all the way to the state Supreme Court, and they lost. But I guess they figured I wouldn't fight it. They were sorely mistaken. I cannot stand corrupt officials in any capacity. I don't care what it's about. Yeah, relatively. I mean, I have a bunch of stuff on YouTube, but on Twitch I'm not real savvy with it. But I'm learning. I'm a fast learner. It's just, it's a different platform. It's got its own little nuances to it. Like, I had it set up because I was playing that game Dawn of War or whatever, and I guess it decided that it was just going to put that in there, this guy's playing whatever, and here I am doing modeling, and I had somebody tell me, hey, you know, doesn't look like you're playing Dawn of War. And I'm like, well, you're right. You know, so I just spent the last 20 minutes or so trying to figure that out. But I figured I spend enough time watching other folks' stuff and supporting them in the same hobby that I'm in. Why shouldn't I try myself? But I do like the streaming, it's pretty neat. It's also neat for someone like myself. It's not a very social person in a lot of ways. This is a lot better. Plus, in this hobby, the crowd is younger. They want to be a lot more competitive than they want to be in the, you know, in the actual gaming part of it, than they want to actually, you know, enjoy the game, it seems. And I get that. I mean, they're all young. I'm just more into the narrative stuff and, you know, having fun putting the stuff together, etc. Why am I having an issue here? What's going on? Right there. There we go. Boom. Like we knew what we were doing. Dang. Stuck to my finger. All right. Let's see. Yeah, I don't even know. I saw that and I was like, well, I don't know what filters do. I haven't got the slightest clue. I'll have to check you out here. How do can I do that? I'm gonna figure out why I can't. Hold on. There it is. Oh, wow. Now I'm trying to figure out how. Okay, there it is. Follow. Got it. And then notifications are on. Sweet. So what do you do for a living? If you don't mind me asking. Build houses? Engineer them? Draft them? Cut that down. Oh man, I'm sorry to hear that. I yell at people. Are you a foreman? I did a little bit of that in my time. I'm a retired Marine. Grocery store baker. Please tell me that you're yelling at the customers. The Karens. Please tell me that. That would make my day. Oh, I'm sure. Especially today with people that want a paycheck. Well, I guess it's been like that for a long time, but it seems more prevalent to me today. People want a paycheck with no work involved. Amazing how that is. That's gotta be funny. Pick up a polished pan or something and say, look into this, and say, I am stupid. I am stupid. That's funny. Yeah, if you're ever curious, on YouTube on my first video, you can see what I'm working on. I have thousands of models that I need to put together. I I've had plenty of people ask me if I want to sell the stuff instead, and I was like, no, I really enjoy this hobby, and I want to see it, I want to accomplish it. I mean, I bought all the stuff. I'll never get the money back that I paid for it, but That's awesome. That's awesome. You don't have problems, you're just stating it like it is. That's the problem in this world, that everybody's too afraid to tell it like it is. Worried about offending somebody. It's crazy, man. There we go. That's what I was looking for. Like a glove. Oh yeah, first try. Awesome. Alright, well that's all the tanks that I have put together at the moment. I have 3 more. Let me put these to the side real quick. You and me both, brother. You and me both. I offend a lot of people. Get these out of the way. I get people out here to the gun range, and everybody, when they call up and we tell them you got to do safety brief and all this your first time here, and you know, for certain things, and then you got to do a safety brief for everything else, like rifle, pistol, you know, especially if we're doing any type of kinetic or advanced, you know, pistol or rifle combat stuff, CQB, whatever. They'll tell me on the phone, well, I've been shooting all my life. And I'm like, no, that's great, appreciate that, but doesn't change anything. And some of them will get offended, some of them will understand. I mean, they need to understand the liability in having a gun range. And you know, I break it down to them, you know, until they're the idiot. When they become the idiot or get an attitude, that's when I kind of bark back, if you will. I just don't have time for, you know, the nonsense. You know, I used to be called angry architecture, and someone said, no, don't be an ass, that's why I don't come to your streams anymore, because of how you come off. Oh man, well, it is what it is. This is what we're going to be finishing up. Now, I've already done those 3 tanks on the right. I've got to put the 3 little tanks on the left together, and then the big tank. And I've had this set forever. But we are finally, with this army, coming to a close at some point. I mean, well, I say that. I've still got crazy stuff to put together. Show you something else. Yeah, exactly. That is on them. It's not on you. This is something else I got to put together for this army. I have one put together already, but I want to have 2. And then I've got a bigger one, and then 2 more of even bigger ones. So I don't know. I love this army. Never played a single game with it, but I love it. I love its history, the lore, all of it. It's just really awesome. Exactly. I totally agree with that. Yeah, I had a guy out here. Obviously, he'll remain nameless. I don't even know that he knows I stream, but you know, everything was cool on the phone, you know, you name it, things like that. And you know, we talked about some things he wanted to do, some advanced, you know, pistol combat training. Said he'd been out to gun sight and academy, which was interesting because I'm also a former contractor, special operations guy, and I was curious how he was able to go to academy not being a contractor, and I just assumed that he knew somebody. You like to name him? Well, anyway, he you know, he said he had all this experience. He'd spent, I don't know, 15, 20 grand or whatever going to these high-speed shooting courses, and he wanted to come out here. And I said, okay. And we don't have, you know, a facility like those places do. I mean, we're trying to build it up and things like that, and you know, as we can. And this guy's at 15 yards, and he can't hit the broadside of a barn, man. I'm not even kidding. I mean, the steel target is as big as a normal, you know, human-sized chest, and he is unable to hit this thing no matter what. And I mean, we're not running and gunning. He's just standing there, and I'm trying to help him. His grip is horrible, just all basic fundamentals, whatever. And you know, I'm very patient with people for the most part. And he turns around, and I went to reach for his gun again, and he yanks the gun away from me and throws it in his holster, like just all angry and stuff. And he looks at me and he goes, "Can you even do this?" Now, if you can understand this from the point of view of me, you know, in this camera, I'm looking at him. The target is about, I don't know, to my, if me looking at him is 12 o'clock, it's about to my 4. So I can't even really see it, but just, you know, a bare bit out of my peripheral. And I just took my pistol out and shot, you know, 2 shots and put them both right, you know, in the center of the chest. And I never looked at the target, put my gun back in my holster, and I said, no, I can't do it. It's time for you to go home. He got real upset, went down to the next city or whatever, I guess, you know, I don't know if he lives there or whatever, but he ran into a friend of mine who's on a SWAT team down there. Didn't know we were friends, I guess, and was talking all kinds of smack about me or whatever. And he's like, yeah, that guy up there, you know, he's a real jerk, blah, blah, blah. and I guess my friend was like, "Are we talking about the same guy?" And but he didn't tell him, what happened. So my friend calls me up and he's like, right then and there, and he was like, "Hey man, what's going on?" And you can hear the guy in the background, "Don't mention my name." And I said, "Nothing much." And he's like, "Yeah, I met somebody down here." And I was like, "Yeah, I can hear him in the background." And he says, he goes something about, you were being a jerk or something. And I'm like, well, it's not hard to figure out who this is because, we didn't have any customers, probably in the last week or so. And so I knew exactly who it was. Not for that kind of stuff. Obviously I'm trying to get to the point here, so I'm leaving out a lot of the conversation. I told him what happened, and he's like, "All right, man, well, I'll call you back, get back to you." Well, the client called me up that evening and apologized about everything. And he's like, "I didn't know who you were," and blah, blah, blah. I was like, "Sir, it doesn't matter who I am. It doesn't matter what I did. What matters is, you understand that I have a responsibility out here to make sure that you're safe, and and I'm trying to help you. I'm not trying to, I said, if I wanted to, I could sit there and go, man, you suck. But I don't do that. And, I said, I'm not expecting you to be able to, do what I've been doing for 30 years, in a day. I don't care where you've been." And I said, and maybe you just haven't shot in a while. I don't know. I tried to, really just, be nice about it. Well, then, I figure, okay, things are cool. He came out and did a couple more training ops with me and stuff. Well, then he says, "Well, I'm leaving. I'm actually moving out west." And I was like, "Oh, okay, cool. Well, appreciate your patronage and stuff." And that was really the last I heard from him. Well, I get a call from a friend of mine. You're gonna love this one. I get a call from a friend of mine that I hadn't spoken to in probably 15, 20 years. He was one of my sergeants back in the day. Works for Department of Energy, or used to. High speed, low drag daddy, if you will. And he's like, "Hey man," he's like, "Are you running, I'm sorry, actually I got a call. It was on Facebook. He contacted me and then asked me to call, and I gave him my number. And he calls me and he says, "Are you running CQB classes out there, close quarters battle and stuff like that?" And I said, "Yeah, absolutely." And he's like, "Okay." He's like, "Can you send me a copy of your curriculum?" I said, "Yeah, sure, no problem." And he's out in New Mexico. It's no big deal to me because, it's not, he's basically a brother, if you will. And, we all know this stuff anyway. But we worked, when I was an instructor of Special Operations Training Group for the Marine Corps, we worked together. And I guess because of how I could convey things to students or whatever, I was typically the guy that would do all of that. Write up all the curriculum or whatever. Anyway, getting off on a tangent here. He calls me up and says, "Hey, I got a story to tell you." And what had happened was the guy, this same guy, went, just sheer coincidence, ends up in New Mexico where my friend is, and he's got a pretty big pretty good setup out there. I guess on average he's got 60 to 80 clients, and they all live in the same area. So this is like the one thing they can all do without having to go anywhere. So they shoot, they get instruction, all this kind of stuff. And he goes, well, first he said, I remember what it was. I forgot a part of it. He said, "Do you have your," this is before I sent it to him, that's what it was. He said, "Do you have your, where you can get to your computer or whatever?" And I said, "Yeah." And so I did. This is on that original phone call. I'm sorry, I got way off track. And he's like, "Can you read to me, what's on, your third slide?" And I'm like, "Well, Brad, what the heck's going on?" He goes, just read it to me, man. Just do me that favor." I said, "All right, no problem." So I read it to him, and he goes, "Yeah." He's like, "I figured as much." And he's like, "Let me get back to you," or whatever. Well, what had happened is this guy was going through a course with him, and when the course was over, he went up to Brad with my curriculum and said, that it was his curriculum. What he had done is he'd gone to Staples I don't know where you're at and if that exists out there, but he went to Staples, had essentially whited out, you know, all of my copyright stuff, my logo and all that kind of stuff, and then had it re-photocopied or whatever and put in a binder. And I guess it didn't quite come, he didn't pay attention to this, but it didn't quite come out as clear or blanked out as he was intended, and Brad saw that. Well, anyway, he started reading it, and he's like, wait a minute, you know, this sounds like somebody I know, you know, the way, you know, the wording was. And so that's how, you know, why he got a hold of me. Well, anyway, when, you know, he calls me back and he tells me what happened and everything, and I'm like, damn, man, I'm like, you know, I know people steal stuff or whatever, but I mean, my gosh, that's ridiculous. He's like, don't worry about it, I'm gonna handle it. So I guess there was another course where Brad had told him, you know, go ahead and, you know, come back in a week, you know, to this course or whatever, and we'll talk about it. And the guy said, well, I'll participate in the course too. And he's like, okay, well, cool. You know, I guess trying to, you know, make Brad, you know, buddy up to him, whatever. And then, of course, like I said, he was hoping that the two of them could do this venture together with his curriculum. Well, I guess Brad in this course introduced the guy to, you know, the 60 some odd people or whatever. Where did my thing go? What the heck? Lost my sanding twig. Oh, there it is. Anyway, yeah, basically plagiarized, absolutely. And I mean, well, I mean, he basically just took it. I mean, he didn't. The only thing he made changes to was the logo and stuff. Because Brad and I talked about it afterwards and compared it, you know, because I sent it to Brad and he was like, man, this dude just straight up took your whole book. But anyway, he got the guy in front of the class, introduced him to everybody, and like I said, this is a small, you know, small area, so everybody knows everybody. And he's like, yeah, you know, he's gonna be going, you know, through the course here this week. And he goes, but before we get into that, you know, we're looking at, you know, he's broached me with the idea of putting together a venture, and I'm thinking about it, but I wanted to look at something first and get everybody's opinion. And he holds up my manuscript, if you will, or whatever you want to call it, and he lights it on fire right there in the room. Apparently, I mean, the one that the guy gave him, and apparently, you know, he's got a concrete floor and stuff, so he didn't care. That's what I asked Brad about that. I was like, did you try and set your building on fire? And yeah, he set it on fire, let it hit the ground, and then he looked at the guy and he goes, you stole my friend's work. It's time for you to leave. Well, the guy basically moved to this area. Now everyone knows who he is. I don't know what's happened to him after that, but you run into some interesting people, man. You really do. That was a long story, wasn't it? Alright. We're done with this mold finally. I hope. Set that off to the side because I am excited about making another mold of something else. Oh yeah, I remember I did that. But I want to get these pieces squared away, and then I'll put those tanks together. What time is it? 1:53. Gotta make some time for reading for school. Yeah, it is crazy, man. I don't know. I mean, I guess some people will do anything. I mean, hell, look at our government. This stuff's out of control. Yeah, it's a small world for the most part in my community of expertise. I mean, you eventually run into each other at some point for some reason or another. Yeah, I'm on the East Coast here in Virginia. I'm hoping at some point that I'll be able to move my stuff down to my game room and whatnot, but I don't know if that's even a possibility because the game room is right below our master bedroom, and when the little one has to sleep, I could probably end up keeping her awake. Who knows? Maybe down the road when I'm just painting and I'm not banging on stuff and cutting things and cutting myself. And I'm just going to trim these up as good as I can, and then I'm going to set them off to the side and start cutting out these other 3 tanks. I think it's sometimes the monotony gets to you when you're doing the same project over and over, but I still enjoy it. It's just I have so much to do, and I guess I keep thinking about that, and that probably makes it worse when I should just enjoy what I'm doing. Because for a while there, I mean, I was putting an entire army together inside of 4 days, and I mean, it's crazy how fast I was putting stuff together. But they were Space Marines. I already knew how to do it. Oh, that reminds me. When this is over, this army, I can't move on to the next army until I go back to my Space Wolves and put all their shoulder pauldrons on. They've got detailed shoulder pads that I ordered, and they're all here, and I need to go back, and I barely put any glue on their originals, so I've got to pop those off and put the good ones on. But that means I got to cut them all out, trim them up, and glue them on. There's probably, I don't know, at least 100 Space Marines, at least. It won't take that long. I say that 8 hours later, I'm over here crying on the table. That's interesting. You can watch Twitch at work. Not get in trouble, I mean. But you're probably kind of your own boss back there, I would imagine. A little too deep there. Afraid that was going to jump up and cut me. Oh, that's right. You're at home sick. So you were probably chatting to your boss on the phone. I don't know why I didn't put 2 and 2 together there. Getting old, I guess. I don't know. Getting old. Saying that, and I'm only 47. Body feels like it's 80 from the Marine Corps. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Where's that piece? So that one goes there. We're gonna have to figure something out here. Both of these are gonna have to be rights. Well, I guess I could fill the hole in. Doesn't really matter. Nah. We'll go ahead and cut these, get it out of the way. Gotcha. That's part of the reason my family's not here. They're headed to go to a funeral and stuff. So tell me some of the finer points of streaming on Twitch. Like what gets you out there? Other than just time, which I imagine is a big part of it. Whoa, easy. Something on my phone real quick. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I'm gonna have to find a way to plug it in. It's the only problem with using my phone is having a way to plug it in to charge. But it's a damn good camera. Now I've done it. Oh yeah, I knocked over this box of models. Well, that plastic can get pretty loud, that's for sure. Let me see if this is gonna affect me. Not that bad. Well, if we lose the stream, it's because my phone died, but we got it plugged in at least. Let's see what happens. Yep. Talked earlier about making molds. What do I use to make them? Right now what I'm using is this. Good question. This is Mold Star, Smooth On Mold Star, and I use the number 15. It's a slower mold. It takes about 4 hours to cure. If you know, I just do the 4 hours and then let it sit. And actually have shown on my YouTube channel how to do some of this, but regardless, this is what I use to make the mold, and then I use this stuff. I think they only make 300 now, I'm not sure, but at least that's what I've been able to find on Amazon. There's part A and part B for the actual liquid plastic, and this takes about And 10, maybe 15 minutes to cure. It's not that hard, or not doesn't take that long. And then the way I do everything is I'll take a platform like this Lego thing, because I'm only looking at, you know, small stuff here, and then I put Legos all the way around it for the size that I need, making sure that I've got, you know, if I take this guy for instance, you know, line him up or whatever and put the Legos all around, you know, because maybe I only need a mold this big, you know, whatever. And then I put I gotta pull it out of here, hold on a second. Then I take this stuff. It's a clay, non-toxic, non-sticking clay, and it doesn't dry, you know, like it doesn't air dry or anything. And I layer the bottom with that, and then I press the, you know, whatever the original is in about halfway, or, you know, to where there's not going to be any, you know, or very little gaps where the, you know, the liquid rubber mold stuff could go underneath. And then I just pour, you know, I also spray it with this, and I've had this one can now for at least 2014. That's how long I've had this can, and I just, you know, do a quick spray real quick. Nothing, you don't need a lot, so it, you know, that way, you know, the mold, the original will come out of there with no problems. Because like these guys their guns are really soft, or have the ability to break, I'll put it that way. Whereas the other models that you get, like some of these, you know, that are metal, don't have that problem. Some of the other stuff, like these tanks and things like that, the plastic is a lot thicker. Like these are the original bulldozer blades from what I made. And then I just pour the stuff in, and when I pour it in the corner, you know, and I pour it real high up, so that way, you know, it helps get the air bubbles out. And but it's actually really good. I mean, I've just recently bought new stuff, and I had stuff that it took or I had it since 2014, and I wasn't able to do anything for about 3 years. So it sat around I had already used it once or twice, so it sat around open for 3 years, and it was just as good as when I bought it. So, but yeah, that's basically what I do. Hopefully I'm hoping to do something here. I'm just trying to figure out at what point will I get, you know, the possibility of getting demonetized. Not that I'm monetized at all by any stretch, but my next goal is to make, you know, I'm done buying models, I'll put it that way, unless I really want the model. But when it comes to troops and things like that, I'm not buying this stuff anymore. I'm not playing an actual competitive game. I'm just gonna make molds and cast them, and I'll have what I need. If they're not perfect, it doesn't matter, because they die pretty quick anyway. Alright, so we got 2 of those. Gotta make sure we cut them right. Where's the third one? Here it is. Drywall out of plaster cast. Just for the, like, so it actually feels like that? Or any particular reason? Sorry, I'm trying to figure out how I want to cut this, because I really don't want to have to make another one. I'm just ready to move on to another model. So it feels like it and can be painted to match real. Right, I get you. I got you. Yeah, that's what I figured. I guess the only thing I'd be worried about if I was doing it, and I mean, obviously you know better because you do this, is I'd be worried about it cracking. You know what I mean? Like, you know, walls do. Would it be thick enough? You know what I mean? Like, would your wall be thick enough to keep it from, you know, from cracking? Sometimes when I'm doing this stuff, I wonder if all my creativity is gone, because I used to do like some crazy projects back in the day. But I feel like, you know, maybe it's coming back to me or something. Between this and riding motocross, this is, you know, these are the two things I love the most, and then neither one of them is a cheap hobby, that's for sure. Let me just set these off to the side, get them out of my way. Yeah, that's that. Oh, well, that reminds me. So they have, if you want to check out their website, you may want to. I mean, I'm not like affiliated with them or anything. They have some other silicone rubber and stuff that might not be as you know, might not be as thick, or not thick, because it's really about how much you pour it. What's the word I'm looking for? Not as I don't know. It's more pliable. That's what I'm trying to say. Plaster, does it get rubbery before it hardens? Yes, I believe so. I don't use it that often, or actually I haven't used it in a long time. Probably quite a few years. Let's see here. But yeah, they've got some other, you know, mold making stuff that'll be more pliable, I believe. I just wanted this stuff because I wanted it to last, so I can continue to make more and more. You can also, it's also about how you make the mold too. So if you noticed on this box here, they're showing, you know, a one-sided mold, okay, and that's it. I'm doing a three-dimensional object and doing two-sided mold. And so like when I'm done, you know, with the one side, well, then I just pull the clay off the one side that it was on, and then I go ahead, move the Legos over to the other side while keeping that intact, and then I you know, then I pour the other side. If you were gonna do that, I wouldn't. I don't know if you'd want to cut it out. I almost feel like you would want to make the mold with a door already in it. You know what I'm saying? Like put the door, you know, you've got your wall itself, and then stick the door, you know, where you want that to be, and then pour over that, and then when you pull the mold out, you just pull the door out, and you've already got your hole, and then you can just trim it up. That's what I would do. That I wouldn't want to try to cut that. I mean, I cut into the mold all the time for my air channels and stuff. Oh, that's something else you want to do, like, you know, you see all these little pieces that I'm cutting off. Sorry. These are all air channels, and I made these with older, you know, sprue from a different thing and toothpicks, and then I get in there and I cut, you know, the channels, you know, to make sure I've got enough airflow just to get the air bubbles out. But yeah, if I was you, I would make a door, the door that you want, and put that in the, like, you know, you got the bottom of the mold, right? So let's just say this is the bottom of the mold, and then you stick the bottom of the door, damn it, stick the bottom of the door right up against the opening of the mold, or, you know, and then this would be your top, okay? And where is mine? Here. So like right in here, if you take a look at what I did, the one edge became the top, and that's where I went ahead and poured, and I did it enough that I made enough air channels that they all connected, so I could pour from one side and basically force the air over. And as I continued to pour in each channel, you know, it just kept forcing the air out. Now you don't always get it out over here. It will still, you know, come up some of the places you've already poured, but it gets most of it out. But you need those air channels, and I've just learned that from experience, not like, you know. But it's, you know, it's a little bit of work, but I mean, I wouldn't. I'm just saying, I wouldn't want to cut the door out after the mold was already made. That's crazy. Well, shoot, even if, I'm sorry, cut the door out in the plaster. Just make the door and make it part of your mold, and you'll be good to go. And then you don't have to fool around with that and risk, you know, messing up your plaster or anything like that. But you may have all kinds of other things going on with that door, I don't know. Same thing with the windows. I don't know why I didn't even see the windows part. Trim all these up later once we, wait a minute, 1 2 3, 1 2 3. Yeah, I mean, you know, I won't lie, I mean, when I first tried it, I was like, oh man, you know, am I gonna make a mess? Is it gonna be, you know, do I even know what I'm doing? Am I wasting my money? But it's like, once you figure it out, you know, I mean, it's super easy. The one thing I would recommend too is, when I first started, you may want to get some painter's tape or whatever and put that around the Legos, just in case you have any leakage. But I don't normally have any leakage, not with the stuff I have, because it's so, you know, viscous. The viscosity is pretty, well, it's not thick, but it's thick enough that it doesn't just come pouring out. And that's, like I said, the number 15. But once you have your mold, you probably already saw these come off. I like the, you son of a gun. Hold on. Where did you go? Oh man. The one piece that I need, of course it did. So I have stuff under my desk, boxes of models and stuff. And of course there are gaps, because you can't fill all the gaps, and that's exactly where it went. Anyway, what I was going to say was, I started out doing this, holding the mold together, just the mold with rubber bands. And then it occurred to me, why don't I use these, you know, things, sandwich it together, and then use these clamps that you can get for like $5 to $8 or whatever at your hardware store, Lowe's or Home Depot or something like that, and you know, buy a couple different sizes, and that has worked out so much better for me. A lot faster. The rubber bands don't break when, you know, they're getting used repeatedly. So yeah. All right. Let's see here. Oops. Joy. Joy. Can you hear the sarcasm? Alrighty. Oh, I'm already breaking my own rule. Tracks first, man. Tracks first. I'm just so excited to get done with this. Even though I know I got a long way to go for this army still. One of the models I have to put together. Check this out. I have to literally see this, all of this resin right here, and I have to put a mask on and eye protection, because otherwise the dust and everything's, you know, basically carcinogen. But I have to saw this off, and I've got to saw it off just good enough that I don't saw into the actual model and ruin it. And each side of this thing, this is a shoulder. Each side of this thing has that problem in the back, and each of the weapons have a big giant block as well. Still working on the roof. Right on. They've gotten a lot better with these. These are the newer version of the tanks that I have, of the armored personnel carriers. The old versions of all the tanks, you had to figure out and line up where the treads went. Now they have, you can see that they have, you know, where the tread actually fits in there. You don't have to worry about it. And they mark the treads. Didn't used to be that way. And let me tell you, you'd end up with gaps if you didn't put, well, you'd end up with gaps, but you needed to put the stuff on the bottom. You know, like line it up so your gap would end up on the bottom where no one's going to see it. And I can't even tell you how many years I did this hobby cutting these things off with a freaking razor blade instead of clippers that I didn't even know existed, like I'm doing right now. The hours that I could have saved of my life. It was crazy. And I got these in Walmart. This hobby's crazy, man. I mean, I magnetize stuff so I can switch out weapons and all kinds of stuff. It's crazy. And ever since I learned how to make these molds and casts and everything, I just want to make copies of everything. I mean, I'm not, you know, for the purposes of selling, but I mean, it's just like, oh man, you know, look at that thing. I can make another tank. Oh, and I'll show you. So, okay, so check this out. So, this tank right here is an original with the original pieces and everything, and resin top and everything. They don't make it anymore. I just accidentally broke that off and reglue it. Why this is important is when they sent this to me, they also included the original sprue, which meant that they gave me a turret and the upper housing. Oh, right on. You know, that's what I had left over. So I took the chance and was able to cast my own treads. You know, I mean, it's not perfect, but I mean, nobody's gonna notice that, especially when I put mud and stuff on it. Use plastic card on the bottom to fill in the bottom part, and then everything else is a casted, you know, or you know, a cast piece. How about that? So now I have 3 extra tanks. And I have this older tank from back in the day that was all busted up that somebody had. Now, to be honest with you, they lost the game and they got really angry and they threw it on the ground. And I said, well, I'll take it. And I plan on trying to make like a diorama of parts and things like that, you know, rocks and stuff like that, like it's blown up, and then cast that so I have wreckage for when things happen. The game does not require you, well, they tell you to take the stuff off the board. I don't like that. I think if you're gonna blow somebody's tank up or whatever it is, it should be sitting there, you know, in some capacity, because I mean, it's not like it just disappeared off the battlefield. But you know, that's the great thing about the game, is as long as you and your opponent agree on, you know, what's going on, then you can do that. And they probably do it because they know people aren't going to go out and buy a tank just to, you know, mess it up. And with 3D printing now, man, I mean, things are getting crazy. That's something I want to get into, is 3D printing. I can make so much stuff. Now, it takes longer than what I'm doing, but I feel like in the long run it would end up being cheaper. Because the one thing about making these molds, and it'll probably be better in your case, is you want to make a mold. I'm sure you already knew this, but you want to make a mold of something that you're going to use all the time, or need all the time. For me, you know, I want to make Space Marines, tons of them. I want to make a certain Imperial Guard army, or basic humans, that they don't make anymore. They don't make the models anymore. I don't like the new stuff that they have. So that's basically where I'm at. You know, grumpy old, crotchety old dude arguing and complaining about stuff that doesn't really matter. Something else I made. This doesn't exist in the game, but you might find interesting, is these pipes on the back of this armored personnel carrier. Because in my mind, while all the other tanks have trench rails on the back and you can't fit them on this one, if these things came across a trench that was too big for them to ford, they need a way to get across. Well, in my mind, if you can picture this, this is basically something that is shot out from underneath here. I don't know if you can make out that gear mechanism inside there. It doesn't actually do it, but I mean, just, you know, the fiction of it. It's launched up, and each one of these rings that are on these pipes are small welding charges. So it launches it up, you know, kind of lays it out as a blanket, and then they weld themselves together and then land in front of it, and then they drive over. Just something I made up in my head based off of, I don't know if you've heard of the APOB system or MICLIC systems. They're basically obstacle breaching equipment that we used in the military, mainly your conventional forces. I have a video on this as well on YouTube, but what was I going to say? Launches out basically fire hose, if you will, that's filled with, or a fire hose like material that's filled with C4 grenades, and you know, once it's laid out, you know, on the ground and it goes off, it clears a lane for troops to run through if there's mines there, you know, concertina wire, whatever. That's kind of where I developed the idea for this thing. Like I said, it has no relevance in the game whatsoever, but it's just a cool conversation piece, and it breaks up the monotony of 6 of those types of vehicles running around all looking the same. But I do hope to make a trench board that I can employ, you know, that in some capacity. So what are your Twitch secrets, Obi-Wan? Seven years on Twitch, that's crazy. My wife would probably, if I could get her to sit on a computer long enough, would probably watch her stuff a lot, because she likes watching home improvement shows like Fixer Upper and stuff like that. And she's got a dollhouse she wants to put together for our daughter. It's already a ready-made kit, of course, but nothing like what you're doing. Are you using rare earth magnets or some other kind of magnet? Yeah, that's basically how I'm doing it. I guess you just build up, you know, people over time. Yeah, probably rare earth magnets. That's the other thing too, is if I go to build this walker, I gotta reference one of my other ones, because I haven't done one in so long. I gotta make sure I get everything right for the pose and the magnets and everything, because you know, that way I can switch out weapons and things. I've got 15 of those to build. A lot of money involved. I bought most of it well before I was married, and I've only been married to my wife, you know, 7 years, and we've been together 8. Can't believe it's been that long. Time flew by. But I wasn't with her while I was serving, and I don't know. Whenever I watch people's videos in the hobby, it's mostly painting videos. Most guys, unless they're building like actual terrain, you don't really ever see anybody do any assembly on these models. I think it's probably too boring for folks. I don't know. I've got to drill and put brass rods into the Titan that I want to put together too. That's not something I've ever done before, so that's going to be an interesting build, to say the least. But I also feel like I want to copy it before I put it together. I just don't know if I want to go through the trouble to do it or not. Mainly because I'm running out of space. And I'm thinking to myself, I can use the same model for certain armies, so, you know, what's the point? But I would like to have what's called a maniple, which is a full maniple, which is I think one or two of the largest Titans. Maybe it's one and then two of the medium and then 3 or 4 of the smaller ones, I'm not sure. To give you an idea of how much they cost, I believe the Warlord Titan, which is the biggest one that you can buy, without weapons, just the body, is like 1,600 bucks. I am building right now a Hellhound Devil Dog, 3 of them, and I'm at the end of the rope for this. I've got the 3 Hellhounds on the left, and then I've got the Bane Blade left to build out of this box set. So right now, I mean, and that'll wrap up 22 vehicles total for this army. A bunch of tanks and stuff I've already done. What was I doing? Oh, tracks. But thank you for asking. And I'm Simo streaming here on YouTube, so if you're interested in the thousands of models that I'm putting together, and I'm not exaggerating, go over to my YouTube channel, Angry Badger Minis, and look at the first video, and you'll see what this journey is all about with all the models that I have. Are you in Warhammer in the hobby? I didn't click that far enough. I really wish there was a way to know when somebody texts you. Oh, right on. I mean, text you, Jesus, messages you on, like, give me an alert or something. I'm new to streaming really on Twitch, so I'm still trying to figure things out. You might get interested, Earl. Let me grab this real quick. Something might interest you. Back in the day, before I had all this kind of stuff, I made do with what I had. And one of the tanks, or I'm saying one of the tanks, I don't know if you guys can make this out, but some of the tanks that I used were actual military tanks, and then I just put whatever stuff I could find on them. This is a Army armored personnel carrier, and I like it better, believe it or not, because it's actually more to scale. Yes, Discord is also Angry Badger Minis. That's something I'm trying to learn as well. If you go on that YouTube channel, though, all the links are there at the bottom of any of my videos, or should be. And I've got Discord up right now if you want to try it. If you guys know how to get the actual Link to, oh wait a minute, hold on, maybe I can figure it out. How do I do a link here? I can invite you, but I mean you don't have to have an invite to go. Let me see here. Yeah, I don't see how you get a link for it. Yeah, I don't know. I'll figure this stuff out at some point. I know there's a way to do it. I just can't remember how to do it. Anyway. Let's see here. Back to cutting. The most boring part of this. Can't wait to get to the point where I'm painting and putting cami netting and tarps, you know, on these things. They're really gonna look snazzy. In the mud, that's gonna be interesting. To consolidate these guys. So I don't lose anything. Okay, then we gotta match them up. Nope, that's not them. Okay. Nope. Nope. Alright. So this one probably goes with that one. That probably goes with that. That probably goes with that. This one goes with that. see if I can make this easy for you guys. Why is this thing in slow mode? Does that work? You're putting together tanks or tanks as in thanks. I know, that's horrible, isn't it? Horrible pun. Okay, those go together. Alright, cool. So all those go together and all these go together. Apparently my Discord needed an update. How do I make a new invite link? Why would I need a new one anyway? That's weird. Restarting Discord here. Server settings, and it'll say invite people. Okay, yeah, I saw that before. I guess I just copy it then, right? So okay. For some reason this thing's saying messages failed to load. Alright, let me see. Invite people. Wait, server settings. Maybe I'm not seeing it. Invites. Why am I not? I can do invite people. Yeah, I'm not tracking on how to do this now. What the heck, man? Yeah, invite people. But I mean, how do I set it on? It says hidden, use copy button. I get that. But I mean, where do I go to make sure that it's not going to expire? It's saying messages failed to load anyway. I can't see a single message from any channel. This is crazy. There it goes. Finally. But how do you know how to make it where it's not gonna, like, how do I change the settings on that? It popped up for me now. Here we go. Invites, maybe. It's angry. Well, the link is right there. But it's Angry Badger Minis. Here's a link again. It didn't when I got the link. It didn't say edit invite. Huh. Yeah. I don't know. Is that link working for you guys? Huh. Well, that's weird. Invite people. Copy. Well, I don't understand. Oh, crap. I don't understand. There's no code attached if I just hit copy. It's Angry Badger Minis with spaces in between. Man, I keep breaking that off. Why is this slow mode thing on? What the hell? It's just like I typed it, Angry Badger Minis. I don't know, man. This is crazy. Okay. I got you. Said Discord slow. What's your Discord? Okay, so right. How can I send you a thing? Create an invite. No. No results. Try this. Send a friend request. Nope, that didn't work. Okay. Well, there you have it. Now I don't feel so stupid. I'm kidding. I don't even know what I'm doing. But how do I make sure that the link doesn't expire? That's the question. that's what I was saying. I couldn't even find anything that said edit invite. That's what I was looking for. API outage. We're currently investigating a widespread API outage, major outage. Guess we'll have to wait and see. I gotcha. Oh crap. I didn't even see those over there. My Tyranids army, man, that thing, oh my gosh, is that gonna be so many models to put together. It's crazy. Well, I typically don't go live on any of this stuff until, unfortunately, later at night because of the kids, but for the next couple of weeks, well, I say couple of weeks, the rest of this week and, what you call it, next week, I'll be maybe doing it around the same time. We'll see. I got some school work I gotta get done too. Damn college. Why can't everything just be this? Let's see here. Hey, Mechanical Frog. I don't know when the heck you jumped on there. Been messing around with this damn Discord thing. So I apologize if you're still there and or I missed you. Mechanical Frogs on YouTube. We're dual streaming again to Twitch and YouTube since we figured that part out. We'll be doing that from now on. Man, I'll tell you what I really want to be doing right now is I want to play some damn Dawn of War. But I need to get this going. I really need to make some headway on finishing this arm. I mean, make some headway. I mean, hell, I've got most of it done. Probably about 85%, but it's just the bigger stuff that's going to take time. Only because I'm not as familiar with putting them together anymore. And you put a Space Marine in my hands, I'll have that thing put together in probably 10 minutes. How long do you think it takes for them to fix Discord? Like, is this kind of thing that happens a lot or what? Yes, good question. So I use Tamiya. Oh, where the heck is it? Oh, there it is. Hold on. I get the best results with this. Tamiya, however you want to say it, surface primer. This is the stuff that that I like to use the most. You don't get a ton for the money, but I'm telling you, you get the best coverage, no blotchiness, none of that nonsense. And I buy it all off Amazon. I usually buy it, in bulk. And I'm telling you, man, this is the ticket. I mean, I've used everything there is, but that's the ticket. And if I'm doing like batch painting, like a bunch of, tons of models, like troops or whatever, and I don't really care about those particular kind. Like when I do zombies, for instance, right? When I get around to that, I'm not going to be using this stuff. I'll use, the same color primer that I want the undercoat to be. Plus, I mean, they're just horde models that are supposed to look stupid and sloppy and muddy and things like that. So I'm not gonna worry about that. But when it comes to my more, like these guys, gosh, man, knocking things over. These guys right here from Forge World, I mean, they're resin. There's no way I will be doing anything. Come on, camera, what are you doing? That I'll be doing anything with these guys until they've been primed. Of course, you also had to wash them, which I've already done all that. I don't know if you guys are, if you're even interested in this kind of thing, but this is kind of, some of my paint jobs for some of the aliens and stuff. And if I can get the damn camera to quit screwing around. There we go. I don't know how well that's coming for you guys, but I got a lot. I have so many Tyranids. That's a Tyranid. It's a Gene Stealer Tyranid, but I have so many I've got to put together and paint. And, oh my gosh, so many Gene Stealers. It's crazy. I probably have 100 Gene Stealers on their own, just in those models, if not more. And my wife, on her way back here, is going to be stopping by my mother's house in another state and picking up my old Tyranid army that she thought it was something she'd be interested in doing, and I gave it to her, and it's fully painted, but she's not using it, so I'm going to take it back. It's not as high speed painted as that one is. It's just really, really quick paint job. Brown, orange, and bone colored type stuff. But let's see here. Well, this looks like it came out pretty well. So I don't feel like I have to do any trimming on that, but I do need to find the damn instruction manual because I don't want to screw it up. The tracks mainly is what I'm concerned about. I don't ever want to screw these up. This is basically your instruction manual. It doesn't tell you a whole lot, obviously. Alright. And I use crazy glue because I can get a ton of it, you know, at Walmart or whatever. You can get a 2-pack for like $1.77. I don't use plastic cement or any of that kind of stuff. Just try to cut costs where I can, since I'm putting all of my money into the models themselves. Yeah, so this one does not say, yeah, these don't have the actual left and right on there, so a little bit of an issue there, but not much. Just gotta, you know, be patient and figure it out. And then I usually press fit first just to see, you know. Whoa, easy. Yeah, see, they didn't tell me that I needed one here. I needed something there. I hate when the instructions aren't complete, man. It's really annoying. Well, either they didn't tell me or I've got this in the wrong spot, and I got a feeling I've got it in the wrong spot. Let me see here. It shouldn't be hanging over the edge, but I'm not. That almost looks like it is, but it doesn't there. No, there's no way. They just didn't tell me. There's no way that hangs over the edge like that. Okay. What'd you do? Call him? Hey man, what the heck you guys doing? Better fix that. Ain't nobody got time for that. Guess Mechanical Frog. I missed him. Hopefully it doesn't feel like he was ignored. I know, I was just joking, brother. I mean, I'm not looking at it. I'm just... Once I figure this out, I'll know the rest of them. Just gotta make sure that we're not gonna have a gap here. drilled some of this stuff in. It's not completely press fit. Oh, I have to trim that out. That's no good. Oh, of course you did. Of course you did. Oh man. Good thing I didn't glue it. Freaking punk. Yep, so we got it. I'm just gonna have to pay attention. Since we're here, I might as well just drop a little bit of glue everywhere. Nope, are we out of glue on this one? We are. Well, that explains a lot. And I don't throw any of that stuff away either. I keep all of my glue tubes and stuff. They make great thumbtacks. Mechanical Frog is on the YouTube chat. I've got both of them running, and he said hello to me, but he, I guess he didn't stick around or whatever. But he's on the YouTube chat, or was on the YouTube chat. I've got them both pulled up, so when I'm looking, I can see it. That's why I said I wish there was something, you know, if I got a message, it would ding or something, you know, and I can look up and see what somebody says, but I don't know why that's not an option. Seems to me like that would be a really good thing. I mean, hell, I think even back in the day, Yahoo Messenger had that kind of thing. Dude, what the heck did I just do with... I don't know what I did with my damn razor blade. Oh, there it is. There's one. Yay! Ah, come on. When I first started on Twitch a long time ago, I used OBS Streamlabs, sort of, as best as I thought I could, but I don't really like it. You can't really do a whole lot with it that I've noticed, or maybe I just don't understand it. So I've been using OBS Studio the whole time. Dogs are barking outside. They've been out there most of the day, but they're fine. I say most of the day, while I've been streaming anyway. barking at my horse. Excellent. There's two. Every time, man. God, come on. Get in there. What is your deal? Ugh. Irritate me. I'm gonna put these other ones on. Give that one time to dry. So what are you putting together? Trying to figure out how to say your name, brother or sister. Well, Quelcun? I don't know. You gotta help me here. Give me something that tells me how to say it. This for a moment. I'm doing my best here to keep my new mat clean. That's why I have this one, this old mat here. But I don't know if it's gonna work out the way I hope. Okay, so it's French. I don't speak French, unfortunately, even though my last name is. How would I say that? Gotta help me out here, brother. It translates to someone on Earth. So you want me to call you someone? I'm just kidding. Call you Johnny 5. If you know what that means. Sticking to me. I guess you do know what Johnny 5 is. Or you're laughing at the someone part. No, that's not right. What the heck? Oh, I put a 2 here. No, get off of there. I don't mean it to be disrespectful. I'm just playing around. Okay, Johnny 5 is a robot from a movie called Short Circuit. If you look that up, it'll probably make you laugh. That's a 80s movie. Pretty fun movie. It was kind of like in the E.T. genre, where he was escaping big government. Quell. sticking to my fingers. Yeah, he used to, when some, I don't want to ruin it for you, but when something happened, he said, Johnny Five alive. That was a good movie for its day. I think Hollywood has lost all creativity now. Surprised they haven't made a reboot of that. Maybe I can look up a French translation thing. Let's see here. "50 minutes of French conversation practice. Learn French in 25 minutes. I don't think that's gonna happen. Let me see. French. Sounding out. Here we go. French text-to-speech service. Let's see. Let me move this window over so I can type it in. And we'll see if they got this right. And if I can remotely even say this.
Terra.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to do Quel consuna terra. Is that right? Did that even sound right? I'll try it again.
Quel consuna terra.
Does that sound right to you? Quel consuna terra. No? Okay. No! No, that's not right. Let me see. Google Translate. Someone on the ground. Google Translate says someone on the ground, not someone on Earth. What the heck? Google Translate audio, maybe. French. Still saying someone on the ground. But it's only giving me the ability to tell me the text. It's not giving me the speech. I mean the, sound. How do you use Google Translate audio now? Press the speaker at the bottom. There's no speaker here. Hold on, Google Translate. Oh, okay. I was doing it somewhere else. Never mind, I'm an idiot.
Quelqu'un sue à terre.
Yeah, I don't know.
Quelqu'un sue à terre.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be able to do that. We're gonna have to call you Johnny 5, brother. And just so you know, I don't know if it'll let me. Nah, it's not letting me put the picture in, but this is Johnny 5. Hopefully that makes you laugh. There's no way I could say that loud. That would need some serious practice. Clearly that other place had it totally wrong. Not even remotely close. Got some flashing on here that they didn't get out, or just extra plastic, I guess. I haven't seen flashing like this since the late 70s. I'm kidding. It'll definitely mess up me being able to get it in there. Yeah, the way they did the tracks now, man, super easy. Well, I say super easy. It's so much better than trying to piece it all together before. Gosh, man, it's so much glue on your fingers. Just out of control with the glue. And I know it was all, supposed to be about breeding patience. But look, man, I got wars to fight with this stuff. I don't have time for that. Guess we'll see if Discord fixes itself or not. I always worry too, man, when I'm putting these together. As I watch the pile of tracks getting smaller and smaller, I'm like, man, I hope I have enough. And you cut them all off, but it doesn't change the fact that you think that, like right here, because I wasn't paying attention to what I was doing and I put those two on, I'm looking at this first thought, I'm like, oh my god, I only got 2 of these left. And that's not really the case, because I forgot. Don't get old, man. That's what happens. And then the next thing you know, you're yelling at a loaf of bread on the counter. That means I just made it up. I'll tell you another thing you need to be careful of, and I am speaking from experience. If you have any press fit type models like these, where they press together and you put glue in there, you better turn that crap away from your face. I caught one in the eye, drop of glue in the eye one time. I was distracted by what was going on in the house, wasn't paying attention, turned my head, pressed it together, right in my eye. Thankfully I ran to the bathroom real quick, washed it all out and all that, because I knew what to do, but workplace stuff. But man, That's no joke. I think modelers take safety for granted in a lot of ways. I'm real big on safety. One of the things I do in my spare time is I look for people's lost jewelry underwater. And this last dive I did this last year, I tell everybody in the beginning, I'm like, look, you know, if it gets because where I'm diving, you can't see in front of your face. I mean, like this close, you know. I mean, that's all you can see, and that's with a light, you know. And anyway, I have a metal detector and all that, and you know, I use a lot of lines down there to keep myself, you know, in the circle and stuff that I need to be in. And I've been diving my whole life, you know. I'm a rescue diver, been wreck diver, Marine Corps combatant diver, basically like a Navy SEAL, and Navy salvage diver. But it doesn't matter, because down there I can't have anybody else with me to help me, because one, is so dark, you know, and you can't, there's no way to see one another, and you're going to get in each other's way, get the lines all tangled up and everything like that. Well, look at that, more flashing. I was down there, and my standard operating procedure when I'm down there, when I'm ready to leave the circle, if you will, or come back up, change tanks or whatever, which is what I was going to do, was change tanks, is to bring my right knee to my chest to make sure that I'm not hung up on anything on the outside of my circle, because I always swim to the left. Well, this time, and then like I said, I always tell them, if something goes hairy down there, I'm aborting the dive. Well, I had 500 pounds, which is when you're supposed to surface, and I'm only about 35 feet down, which is not bad. But that's relevant, because to give you an idea of how long I can stay down at that depth on one tank is about 2.5 hours. It's just, you know, the shape I'm in and everything like that. And I brought my knee up, so you figure 2.5 hours from 3,000 psi to 500. Okay, so, you know, basically 2,500 pounds of air inside of, you know, 2.5 hours. Well, I brought my knee up, and my leg, my right leg and fin were completely wrapped up in fishing line that you couldn't see down there. It took 400 pounds, and I wasn't moving fast or anything like that, because you don't want to get worked up, you know. But it took 400 pounds of that 500 pounds of air for me to cut myself free. You can imagine how much longer I was down there, cutting myself free. And when I came up, it's not about your pride, man. I looked him dead in the eye and I said, look, I'm really sorry, but this happened, you know, and blah, blah, blah. And I don't take any payment anyway unless I find it. And, you know, I threw, you know, just so that they knew I wasn't lying, because it happened to be right there. I went ahead and I threw an anchor in right at the spot where I knew it would be. And when we pulled it up, I mean, my gosh, dude, it was a ginormous, I mean, bigger than I am, bushel of fishing line. And basically it was a small cove where people were fishing, and they would just dump their stuff, you know, if their line got caught up on anything. And there was a lot of logs and stuff down there as well. But, you know, I've got 2 little kids and, you know, wife at home and stuff like that. And, you know, I'm sorry, no piece of jewelry is worth my life. But I did ask him, just out of curiosity, I said, how much did your ring, you know, is your ring worth? Did it cost you? And he's like, $200. And I was like, yeah, well, you know, sorry, but it's not worth it. So. Alright, almost done with the tricks. Had I been a person that panics or anything like that, and you know, that could have been Basically, I could have drowned. There we go. Outstanding. No. Appreciate it. It is a cool story in a way, and learning story for sure. All right. Let's see now. Oh, that's right. This is. I'm looking for a piece that doesn't exist because it's a different type of vehicle. Jeez, man. Come on, wake up. What's going on here? So what are you putting together there, Johnny 5? What kind of tank? This is not working. There we go. Oh, you're not putting together a tank? What are you putting together? I thought you said you were, my bad. Ford Mustang GT4. Interesting. I can honestly say I've only put one car model together in my entire life. I'm trying to think what it was. I was really young. I feel like it was a Chevelle, I believe. It was a muscle car, if I'm not mistaken. And then after that, I put together model airplanes, Corsair, F4 Phantom, P-38 Lightning, Black Widow, Flying Fortress. Didn't really put any tanks together. Of course, now I am. But let's see, Discord fix itself. Nope, looks like it popped right up, so let's see. Alright, so invite people. Okay, that's definitely different than what it was. Edit invite link. Expire never. No limit. Generate new link. Copy. Paste. There we go. That should work. I don't feel like such an idiot. I post on my Twitter and on my Discord when I'm going live. Of course, I guess I didn't today, but normally I do. Okay. Nothing but plastic. Yeah, I put the link in there, so it should be working. And I edited it like you said. I saw the edit thing, so it should never screw up. I didn't know that was even a thing. I guess I could see the reason for having a link that expires. Maybe. Did I really cut that? Son of a... You've got to be kidding me. I did that with every one of those chimeras. And I damn if I didn't do it again. Shoot. I'm trying to watch my language both for you guys as well as my little kids, man. Man, I can't believe I just screwed that up. Maxa. Who is that? Is that you there, Johnny 5? Or is that Craftsman? So is that you, Maxa? Got all relaxed and didn't have my hand in the damn camera. Over here doing stuff, and you can see me, but you couldn't see my hands. Johnny 5's Maxa, okay. I did. Okay, hold on. I'll do it again. Don't ask me how I came up with Johnny 5 for your name, brother. I have no idea. It just happened. But definitely all the respect in the world. I don't know if you saw, if you were on the channel when I showed this, but I'll be putting together this as well. And it stands about as tall as this box is, which is, I don't know, 10, 12 inches, something like that. 13 inches, yeah. I already have one put together for this army, but I'd like to have two. I mean, either way, I gotta put it together, so it doesn't really matter what army it's for. You gotta change your picture too, man. You changed it to Johnny 5. Johnny 5 alive. Kind of fits with the big eyes on your sheep there. I think that's a sheep. Something. Yeah, they're cool models to put together, man. They really are. All right, let's see here. Let's do this. Put this together. Just a little bit of glue. Don't get crazy. zip kicker on this, which is an accelerant for the super glue, but man, I'm really thinking I don't want to sit here either. The problem with using that accelerant is if you don't get it right, man, you'll end up with freaking basically speed bumps in your glue, if that makes sense. Make sure that's straight. Okay. I really need to put my Dr. Octopus over here. Let's do that instead. So I don't have to sit around and hold this thing. I don't know if you guys have one of these, but it's for computer stuff, like when you're messing around with software boards and stuff. Super awesome to use. Alright, why is that? It's not working for you? What the heck? It's there, but it won't let you join. Alright, I don't understand why that's happening. Let me see if I can find your name on here again. Plug it in. I don't have your name on here anymore. Oh, there it is. No results found. I wonder if it's because of the numbers on the end.